Listen, I know some people, even myself, has made this game against Ohio look quite dangerous at times, but I've got somebody who's been on the road in some crazy environments in his life, and he's saying Rich Rodriguez ain't never scared.
You are Locked On West Virginia, your daily podcast on the West Virginia Mountaineers, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What is up, guys? Welcome back in. My name is Mountaineer Paul. I am your host, and this is Locked On West Virginia, baby, where we're talking about the Mountaineers again on the football side again today. Of course we are, with a little kiss from somebody that I enjoy having on the show. Before we get there, though, guys, this episode of Locked On West Virginia going to be brought to you by Monarch Money, and we're talking about Monarch Money for a couple reasons, and we want you to take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONCollege at monarchmoney.com for 50%. That's half off your first year. And thanks for making Locked On West Virginia your first listen, and for being a part of the Locked On Podcast Network, where we talk about your team, the Mountaineers, every single day. Okay, so we teased it. I didn't even put his name in the title this time because I didn't want you guys to get too excited about it because you were freaking out last time. So we're going to make it a little surprise as we bring on former West Virginia running back and alum Eugene Napoleon. He knows what 4-3 looks like. We got to give him his flowers, man. We both were kind of on Sincere a little early. I think we can both say that. And I had you on, after I'd seen you mention him on another show previous to that with Skylar, on the show that you did with Skylar Callahan. And what's the name of that show, by the way? Sorry, it's slipped my mind all of a sudden.
Walkthrough Game Day Show.
Walkthrough Game Day Show. And we were talking about Sincere, like you kept saying, look, this might be a guy. And lo and behold, Saturday, he looked like a dude with the ball in his hands on the few carries he got in Eugene.
Absolutely. No, he is a dude. He is a dude. And I'm gonna show you something. With few carries, he showed you the explosiveness. He showed you one wiggle, one cut, and I'm out. You know what I mean? And I love it because the way he finished off the run, so no, he's a special back, and he's going to be that much more special with more carries. I'm really excited to watch what his career is going to look like in a West Virginia uniform.
Eugene, you hear the skeptics, you even hear people on our side of the thing, and I've even been guilty of it this week at times, looking at that Ohio squad that took Rutgers to the limit on the road, that's won 10 games or more 3 years in a row. They retain the offensive coordinator that's been with them through all that. They've got their quarterback back. They've got some skill talent back. They got their running backs back. They've got their safeties back off of a 10-win football team. And they did look the part at times against Rutgers on the road. But RICHROD ain't scared, right?
Dude, listen, Mountaineer Nation, let me holler at you for a little taste. Hard edge, baby. Yeah. Hard edge. Nah, RICHROD is never scared. Trust and believe. Our Mountaineers will go to Ames, and they will do exactly what they're supposed to do. Now, I know some people may say, well, we didn't play well in the first half against Robert Morris. I guarantee you that stuff is clean. I guarantee it. As long as I've known Rich, and I've known Rich for quite a few years, and I mean, when I say quite a few, I'm talking about since the 80s, the mid-80s. This man is not the kind of person that's going to blink or he's going to shake at any level of, let's say, even that much of adversity. And not to say this is an adverse game. It's just another game. It's another game on the schedule. Unfortunately, Ohio's in the Mountaineers' way. And I'm telling you, it's not going to be what people think. I'm telling you, not to take anything away from Ohio. They got a good ball club. It's a very, very good program. Historically, it's been a very solid program. But nah, nope. I mean,
this is one of those games that some people will call the look-ahead spot or the trap game, quintessential trap game. What kind of things would have to happen or would be happening in a program for this to be what makes a trap game a trap game? Like what actually has to happen inside a locker room or program for that to occur?
To be honest with you, lack of leadership from the top down. So I'll give you a parody. So when we went 11-0 back in 1988, Don Nehlen did not allow one game to be bigger than the other. So we wasn't worried about who we were playing the following week. We were only concerned with who we were playing that week. So the game prep for that week was just that team. Good coaches with great programs, that's what they do. I consider RICHROD one of the best coaches in the country. I've always have. So for me personally, I know he knows what it takes to win games like this, where it won't be allowed to be a trap game. So that means there's no outside noise from media, from anybody saying that it is bigger than what it is. No, it is what it is. It's on the schedule. It's the second game on the schedule. That's how we're going to keep it. Where our insulation in this locker room, we're only listening to us. That's what good coaches do. They insulate the noise from outside and they keep it laser focused. What's in that locker room is all they're paying attention to. So this is not, they're not looking at, I can guarantee you, they're not looking at this game as a trap game. They're looking at this game as another opportunity to get out here, right, play ball, and really, we're playing for the state, we're playing for the city of Morgantown, we're playing for our fine university. And every game we get a chance to do that, that's exactly how Rich is keeping us. I mean, it's really just that simple. It's not a trap.
And if we do that, we earn next week, right? Which, let's just call it what it is, Eugene. And somebody sent me this earlier. I did this shared this on my last show. This is from Mike Casaza earlier. Word is, if what WV wins Saturday, it's happening. Maccabee show Friday, game day Saturday. Lots of wheels have to be put in motion, and they've all been put in have to be put on notice. So and I know Mike Casaza don't play. He's not just going to say that. No. So obviously there is a lot riding on the line in this game, and they're not going to. I know RICHROD isn't going to allow them to look ahead to that, but we can. No. I wanted to get your opinion on this.
Yeah, this is fun. This is fun for the fans. Yeah, this is good stuff. This is good stuff.
We'll talk more about the Ohio game here in just a second, but I do want to ask you a question, side note from that. If they win this week and game day shows up in Morgantown, you've got Maccabee Friday, you got game day Saturday, and you're going to have conversations at that desk that are going to be talking about 13-9. It's going to be some hard conversations for Pat and them guys. They're going to have to address it. Pat's going to talk about the missed kicks, the whole thing, right? What does it set up? Do you think it could set this up to be a top 5 game ever in the history of Morgantown? Is that too rich?
Well, honestly, I don't know if it's too rich, but I will say this will be one of the marquee games in our program's history. And I'll tell you why. Whenever we play Penn State or Pitt, that's considered a marquee game because of all the different things, the history of the rivalry between us and Pitt and us and Penn State. So whenever you remember, I started at Pitt. So for me, it's a different level of heightened. I'm in Morgantown for that game, just so you know.
I already know you are.
Yeah. So, I'm
just in
I'm
case they want to step out of line a little bit.
You understand? So no, I think it's going to be a heightened game. I obviously there's a lot at stake only because you're talking about, and hopefully a game like this helps to cement and bring back the rivalry, which I hope that happens. So when you see the TV ratings in a game like this, and you see the fanfare in a game like this, and it's already sold out, and you see everybody going crazy for it, if that doesn't spark both universities to say, we really need to bring this back, I don't know what would.
Nothing. This is it. This is literally it. But, both universities, both economies, I would venture to say this impacts not only the Morgantown economy, but the Pittsburgh economy as well, this game. So there's so much to be gained from it. And a thing like Morgantown, like I was saying earlier, I got a buddy that has been put on, like with Mike Casazza talking about people being put on notice. I know somebody personally that has been told there may be some big rentals that need. I don't know what kind of things that I was saying earlier. I don't know what kind of things that game day needs to rent out, when they go to a location, but there's a lot of money that gets put into the economy besides the game and the fans. Like ESPN's there, they're buying things, they're renting out things, they're using hotel space. Like it's a lot of different things that you probably don't think about. And the other thing is like, remember the last time they were here, TCU, I believe. I know they were here, the LSU game as well. We show out for the game, so it's going to be fun to see what happens. I'm certainly excited, but we got to take care of Ohio first, Eugene. And I just wanted to get your take on RICHROD. He's been here before, right?
Absolutely. Listen, this man has been coaching, obviously, successfully for many, many years. So you don't get to where he's at as a coach and as successful as he's been at every program if you haven't had games like this and you haven't prepared not only your players, but your staff for games like this. It's these type of games, believe it or not, is what makes championship grit and championship ball. It really is. This is what makes championship ball clubs. You got to go through these type of games. And guess what? I'm happy for Ohio. You know why? Because they get the opportunity as well. You don't think those guys who didn't go to Ohio State, they didn't go to Michigan, they didn't go to their dream schools, you don't think that they're biting at the bit for this opportunity?
There's no doubt.
That's what makes these kind of games really great games.
Yeah, they got D1 players too. There's no doubt about it. We go to break, guys. On the other side, I got to get Eugene's opinion on some players to watch for the Mountaineers that he's looking at this week, because I know he's got something good for us on that. And then we'll talk about the game keys and the score as well as we continue to ask different people about this game this week. We're having fun with it, guys. We'll be right back on Locked On West Virginia with Eugene Napoleon. And, of course, we're talking about Locked On West Virginia, guys, and we wouldn't be talking about it without our friends over at Mazda. Listen, with the Mazda Standard, cars for those who choose to do more than simply move. They follow what moves them every time they drive, and that's what makes Mazda stand out. They'll go beyond safety. Go beyond style. They go beyond performance to deliver a driving experience that feels alive in every detail. Mazda offers more than safety. It's won more than anybody, and it has the 2025 IIHS Top Safety Pick plus awards than anybody else. As of August 2025, of course, it's the small details that make the big plays. And just like there's more to every player, there's more to the Mazda vehicle as well. So have fun with Mazda, move and be moved. And it's segment 2. Let's crack open a do, Eugene. Except this time I've got a Clark's water bottle, which is what I'm drinking out of today.
There you go.
With some electrolytes in it, because I've got to slow down on the old dooski. So players are watching this game. Obviously, we saw what Cam Vaughn did and what he did last Cure Bowl. And here's another thing that I asked the play-by-play guy yesterday, Eugene. Is this a grudge match? Because you were a part of that game last year in a way because of your boy, right? He was coaching in that game. You saw the Cure Bowl. Ohio pulled that thing out barely. Cam Vaughn lit them boys up, though, right?
Yes, he did. Cam Vaughn is a different player, man. And he's one of my players to watch for this game, this Ohio game as well. I have a few, but he's definitely one of them. He's a different type of receiver because he's a kid that he runs nice routes, breaks tackles. It's hard to really put his passion for the game in words. He plays every play like it's his last play when he's on the football field. And those are the kind of players at any position that I love to watch. But he's really enjoyable to watch, man. Cam Vaughn he's that dude. He's one of one at his position. And
I agree.
this can be a breakout game for him for many different reasons. But yeah, he's special. He's special.
Yeah. Give me another person. Like, you got anybody on the defense we should look at, or just rattle a few guys off that you're looking at.
I'm gonna tell you right now. I'm gonna call this man. I'm gonna give him his props. This is Mr. Fred Perry. Okay, Mr. Perry. First off, I love it because he will hit anything that moves, which I love. I love the physicality.
Great blitzer.
Loved him when he was at Jack State. Loved him when oh my God. So when you talk about bringing the wood, he's bringing the whole lumber yard. So he's the type of joker that I really enjoy watching. He has a really keen sense of figuring out what you're trying to do before you even do it. So he's getting to you before, like, his IQ is really, really good for this. I really believe he's going to have a double-digit tackles and at least 3 light-em-up hits. So that's what for him. I want to go to the offensive and defensive line. And the reason why I'm saying that, in order to dominate this game, we have to take care of what we need to up front on both ends of it, the offensive end of it and the defensive end of it. Right. Because defensively, Ohio, you cannot let them get in rhythm. And Rutgers made the mistake of falling asleep in the third and fourth quarters of their game and almost lost that game for that very reason. They did not contain the quarterback. They didn't do a good job of keeping the receiver in front of them, and they lost the line of scrimmage in that fourth quarter. Yeah, on both sides of the ball. Right. So for me, if you fall asleep at the wheel, you're going to have a problem against a scrappy, well-coached Ohio football team. The last person I'm going to talk about is Jaheim White.
Yeah, boy.
I really believe Ja's going to have a really big game. Reason being, this type of game right here will open up some lanes for him. I think we play action a little bit in this game to open up some passing lanes for Cam Vaughn. But my point is, this game, the running backs in that room should be licking their chops. This is the kind of game you want to play in, because I believe those lanes will be open. I believe by the time you blink, our backs will be at the second level. And I think that's a problem for anybody in college football. If you get Jaheim White and some of our backs to the second level, by the time you look up, they'll be past you.
And don't forget, you got a few of these guys that were coming in late last week, that were eligible. I'm assuming Jamori's not going to play this week again, but obviously you got Ty Edwards, another running back that is an absolute monster who's finally got through the acclimation period and should be available this week. And I mean, I can only imagine what he's going to look like with the ball in his hands in a Mountaineer uniform. We don't have anything like him. So, 6'2", 240 pounds, it runs 21 miles an hour. I'm really looking forward to seeing his carries as well, because you can speak to this as you're a big guy as well. Big guys don't necessarily need a hole, as they can press the hole and kind of move the pile, right? If there's something, if they've got 8 or 9 guys in the box or whatever, you can make something out of nothing when you're bigger like that.
Absolutely. Well, first off, his style of running, he falls forward, he's going to get you 3-4 yards.
Yeah.
So that's first off. Second off, a back like him, when he breaks a tackle, because he can hit it and he can get there, that full range of speed can get there so quickly, you don't really need to get him started. That's the thing. Like, he's almost at a decent amount of speed his first 2 or 3 steps. With that type of power and that type of acceleration through the hole, he's going to give anybody problems.
Agreed. And I like to show just because I don't think people have seen him in a little while. We like to show this play every now and again, Eugene, just to get people pumped up for. And this is the kind of run that you'll see in West Virginia in Morgantown. So it's fun to watch, and you can see the kind of talent a guy this size has. One cut and gone, and he's outrunning everybody, baby. 21 miles an hour. I mean, that's
absolutely. You see what I'm talking about? You're talking about pressing the hole.
And he's not playing around with it either. He's getting upfield now.
You see what I'm talking about? Yeah, you press the hole and he's out. He's out.
Back in. Yeah. He gets the carry left side, wide open lane.
So obviously we're excited to see him as well. And then, this running back room, man, and Clay Ash looked good at times the other night. I felt like, he was running really hard. Yep. And, I think unfortunately he just wasn't able to break through, and then he got really cracked on his own read. Nico kept and went out of the game. And that's when Sincere got his carries, which I think needed to happen. I think they saw him do it in the game. Now they know he can do it.
Absolutely.
It's going to be really, really interesting who they trot out behind Jaheim. Here's another thing I saw. One of my keys to this season was, am I going to see Jaheim do this? Remember we talked about that. He didn't tap out of any plays. He was taking 8, 9 in a row, which you got to do in this offense sometimes, right?
Remember we spoke about that, prior to, right?
Yeah.
And what did I tell you? When that offense is clicking and these backs are running, there's a lot of times where you're in the middle of look at him.
Look at him,
You're in the middle of a drive.
He prepared himself for it.
This style of offense, you got to be prepared for it. You got to be ready to go 6, 7 plays almost in a row. If you're hot and RICHROD wants to really ride you like that, you're gonna get 5, 6, 7 carries in a row. So, listen, I get for all the running backs.
All right, so we're going to go to one more break really quick, guys. And on the other side, I got to get some game keys and a score from Eugene Napoleon. This is going to be fun, and we'll be right back. And, of course, this episode of Locked On West Virginia going to be brought to you by FanDuel, guys. FanDuel, man, what do you know about FanDuel? The NFL season is almost here, and FanDuel is making sure you're ready for kickoff with a can't-miss offer. Right now, new customers can bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. So are you ready to play? Because if you download the FanDuel app now by visiting FanDuel.com to get started, that's FanDuel.com, the place for your first $5 bet. All right, guys, we appreciate you guys for being here so much. Eugene Napoleon is back, and he got a couple things we want to talk about before we move any further. Thank you, guys. We got about 300 people in here, so tell everybody where they can find you, what you've got going on. I know your wife's got some things going on, a new song.
Absolutely. Listen, all my Mountaineer fans, do me a favor. If you know my wife, Naya, NY''A, you listen to some of her music. 304 was a really big hit for us. That's about the great state of West Virginia, every word of it. She has one coming out on Tuesday, September 16th. It's called All I Need Is You. So wherever you download your music from, wherever you get it from, it'll be available. It's on every digital platform worldwide. Once again, the title of the song is All I Need Is You. It'll be released on September 16th, all digital platforms. It was produced by, if anybody are music buffs in here, if you remember the great group PM Dawn had Set Adrift on Memory Bliss, I'll Die Without You, and a few other major smash hit singles, back in the 80s, back in the 90s. So if you remember PM Dawn, they're related to us. They're our cousins. Unfortunately, Prince B passed on, but Jared Cortez /Eternal is a tremendous producer, recording artist, the whole nine. He produced this particular track, and listen, trust me, you won't be disappointed. So please go out and support that on September 16th. We would greatly appreciate it, and you will, trust me, you won't be disappointed.
304 Professional Carpet Systems, Raleigh says. That's pretty good. Yes. And here's the YouTube page here. I've been scrolling over it. Naya, NY''A, Tracy Napoleon. Make sure you check her out, guys. And obviously you do your walkthrough show with Skylar Callahan, which is one of the best on the YouTube, period. You guys do an excellent job over there. Skylar is a super talented guy in his own right. So, and he's very plugged in. He's also really plugged in, so he's got sources, how shall we say.
Absolutely. And if you don't, I'll be remiss to say, so Napoleon's Corner is my
Oh,
own
yeah.
podcast on every Wednesday night at 7 p.m. It's also on YouTube. So if you haven't, please check that out. Go and subscribe. Napoleon's Corner.
Yeah. Really great life advice over there. Motivational stuff. Just type in Napoleon's Corner. All right. Speaking of Napoleon, we're speaking to the man himself here, Mr. Eugene Napoleon, former West Virginia running back and alum, on the 1988 national championship team. He knows a thing or two about playing for the Mountaineers. So obviously, this is a game where you mentioned the line of scrimmage earlier. You mentioned Jaheim White. You mentioned Fred Perry. Give me 3 or 4 game keys. What does if this looks like a win for West Virginia, what does that look like on the game key section?
I'm gonna start up front first. We have to control the line of scrimmage on offense. Period. Control the line of scrimmage. Our running backs are averaging anywhere between 3 to 4 yards a carry. Because if they do that, that opens up. Now you're talking about 2nd and 6, 2nd and 4, somewhere in there. It really opens up your playbook. You're talking about if they're
Now
running
they got to
like
creep
that,
up.
Exactly. Now they got to creep up. Your play action game is going to be there for you. So that's going to be good. No drops from the receivers. I mean, limited. I know perfect game, but limited drops from the receivers to make big plays. That's on offense. If we do that, trust and believe we're going to put up anywhere between 35 to 42 points. I strongly believe that. I really do. Defensively, really keep their receivers in front of us, number one, because they got some sneaky plays that I loved. They like to run these slants. When I played in the AFL, we got a route called the Twilly route. I talked about this a few days ago, where it's to manipulate the linebacker to kind of step up a little bit. You're almost running as if you're running into him, and then you are moving quickly to the sideline. So it's called the Twilly route for a reason. There's 2 things that happen in that particular route. One is you're forcing the linebacker to move. So once you go to break off from him, he's either going to grab you, which is a hold. Obviously, it's a penalty. And if he doesn't, and you are the slot or you're the guy to that side and they're playing man and the safety is flipped on the other side, that means that's your guy. You're not going to catch him, the receiver, when he's going to the sideline. So that's a really effective route that they ran against Rutgers, and they killed them with it. Off that Twilly route, they run a skinny slant or a quick slant.
Yeah.
We have to be aware of all these different things, and you can identify that by formation. Usually, by certain formations, you can identify what they're going to run. So defensively, I have no problem with that because I already know our defense, I guarantee you, will be prepared for any route, whatever they run, and they're going to be physical because you have to. You have to play them straight up physical. I think if we do that, I'm going to also not only give you a key, I'm going to give you a score. We do that, you're talking about probably, not to be disrespectful to them because they can put up some points, I'm going to say 42-21, West Virginia.
Is this a game you foresee being close until half, or is this something where
this is a game I see being close going to early into the 3rd quarter, and I believe that West Virginia just runs away with it. Starting the 3rd quarter, I believe
too many
they just
plays, wearing them down, that kind of thing?
They just start making plays, start
leaning on them.
Start leaning on them. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And obviously we want to keep an eye on that total. RICHROD keeps talking about 25 first downs.
Yeah.
That's like a 100% win percentage thing. It's like Neil Brown had a thing where if you had a certain time of possession, he was like, I can't remember what it was, like 14-0 or something crazy like that.
Right.
So every coach has their stat they like to get to. We don't have a whole lot of time left, but just listening to him, have you listened to Zach Alley on these press conferences? Have you listened to any of his? Have you listened to him talk on these? He seems like a really bright dude.
Well, not only he is a bright dude, and that's what I mean by our defense. And to give him his props, Zach will have them ready for every formation known to mankind. Trust me.
Oh yeah, Zach. I keep forgetting that.
Yeah, he's gonna. I don't know him because he wasn't at by the time Brandon got to Jack.
Okay, he was.
He was already at Oklahoma.
Oh, okay.
But just knowing his football IQ, he's a really, really smart guy.
Right.
So trust and believe. You saw what happened last week, right? We didn't have any really blown coverages, unlike what we've had in the past 2 or 3 years. You know why? Because everybody's communicating back there.
Right.
That comes from repetition. That comes from football IQ. That comes from being prepared. And that's all the stuff that Zach Alley brings to the table defensively.
And the one they had open, which is one of like the first 3 plays of the game, we had Brady Siders who faked he's a bandit. He faked the pass rush, dropped back, and got his hand on the football. That was the only open one I seen them even have. And it was wide open. They would have probably went for 50 if it would have completed. But that's the point of Siders being there. You're either getting a pick or a tip ball, or you're making it hard for the quarterback to throw over. So it was the only one I saw that we had left them open on all game. Yeah, and this leads me to another question as well. How tested was our defense last week?
Well, listen, again, I don't like to beat up on poor Robert Morris.
Bobby Moe.
Yeah. I don't want to, but I'm gonna be honest with you. No, they wasn't that tested at all, because it's hard to tell what you have up front because they could not match the physicality, offense or defense.
Russell, man,
they just couldn't. And the other thing is, it's hard when you wear a team down. You saw what happened in the second half of that football game. That was a tale of 2 halves. The first half, we didn't look good. We just didn't look good. We wasn't kind of clicking the way we wanted to. But you saw what happened in the third and fourth quarter. And again, not to be disrespectful, but I look at the same outcome in this Ohio game, to be honest with you. I just watch. I think we will wear them down. Starting in the third quarter, we will start clicking on plays, offensively and defensively. And let me say this in closing, we're going to get at least 2 big plays on the special teams as well.
Nice. We need that.
Absolutely.
I think Preston Fox could be one of those, big return or something. I'm surprised they don't have Ben Singleton back there or somebody, but I know just Preston is so trustworthy. So I'm going to rattle off a couple of mine really quick, Eugene. Players to watch. Since you went ahead and went with Fred and Jaheim, I'm going to go with it's hard because I have so many players I want to pick, I'll say Sincere Bowers in this game. I think he's a guy that you're going to need. Jaheim's going to need spelled for times. If Sincere is the number 2 guy, I totally trust him to break off big runs. He's also elusive, so if they're getting penetration, he can make a guy miss and that kind of thing. On the defensive side, and also on wide receiver wise, Jeff Weimer. We hadn't seen him yet, and he's a guy. He cost 75 last year and is an elite route runner. I really think he's going to be a guy. So Jeff Weimer is going to come into his own at some point this year. And then on the defensive side of the ball, they're starting a brand new center. And I talked to the play-by-play guy from Ohio yesterday. We had a great conversation. They've got 4 new offensive linemen. Everybody else on the offense is pretty much there. That's a new center. Hammond Russell absolutely dominated the line of scrimmage last week. I think he's going to make it really hard on their front this week as well. And then game keys wise, I think the number 1 game key for that defense, Eugene, is keeping Parker Navarro in the pocket. You got to figure out a way. You can't let him get out and improvise and dance around and do all that crazy stuff, because you could be in the right position and he's going to make you pay anyway. And you start extending drives, they start gaining confidence. You don't want that. So I think there's that, along with no turnovers this week. Obviously, you can't have 5 in this game or you're done. And then lastly, what was the last one I had written down earlier? I lost my paper, but the last one, I believe it was, Nico. I think Nico needs to be just calm. I think this is his first, what I would consider his first outside of the Brawl. He played in the Brawl, obviously, but it was like the playbook was totally watered down and vanilla for him. I think this is his first big game, really, that he's starting in, because Neil never gave him the reins. It was always a very controlled environment, So I've never really considered, even though he's won a few games for us, I don't consider he's going to have full reign in this game, and I want to see what he does. So, I think Nico, 17-20, we'll take that every week. So, and I like West Virginia to win the game as well. I had a 7-point game when I picked it earlier in the week, trying not to be too overconfident. But, talking with you somehow, I always gain a little extra step on there, Eugene. So I'm going to say I'll go 37-24. That sounds like a decent one for me. So, 13 points or so. Definitely going to cover the spread. It's at 2.5 now. That's easy money, y'all. I would, unless they beat us, and that's the only way it's not. So, guys, make sure you check out Eugene. He's at Eugene Napoleon over on X, as well as Napoleon's Corner. They've got the walkthrough show with him and Skylar Callahan, and absolutely with NY' Tracy Napoleon over on YouTube as well. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. As I just subscribed on my other channel to her just earlier. So leave a comment, subscribe on the whole 9. You know what it is, guys. And we appreciate you so much for being here. One last thing we got to let you know is it's another big moment for Locked On. And if you didn't know, Locked On and Fire TV, we're going to present every week now College Football Kickoff, which is your ultimate college football weekly preview with Drake Toll of Locked On Big 12, who leads the conversation along 2-time AP Coach of the Year, Gary Patterson, former college star Jesse Holley, and locals Locked On experts, which that's me. A college football preview only Locked On can do. You got to catch college football kickoff every Thursday throughout the season, only on Fire TV, and I will have Coach Patterson on here for Backyard Brawl Week, so be prepared for that. That's going to be a fun conversation to have, Eugene.
Absolutely.
All right, guys, we closed in on 400 tonight, so there should be a plenty of you guys that can go over and check out Naya as well as some of Eugene's stuff for me, please. I'm asking as a personal favor. If you watch the show a lot, go support Eugene. He's a former player of ours. He deserves all of our support, and he was nice enough to get on here and talk with me until 10 o'clock at night. So, that's saying a lot. I didn't give him but 20 minutes notice. I asked him at the last minute. So, I appreciate you, man.
No, listen, not a problem. Anything for you, number one, anything for our great Mountaineer fans. And the bottom line is there's nothing like talking about West Virginia football.
Nothing. You're right.
So I'm good. You know what I mean? I had a few other things to do, but when you hit me up, I'm like, you know what? Yeah, let me stop doing this so I could jump on here and talk to our great fans, man. Talk about some good Mountaineer stuff. So I'm good. No worries.
Awesome. All right, guys. I will see you guys tomorrow. We'll have a couple more videos as we approach Saturday. Tomorrow's Thursday. I'll come up with something to talk about. Until then, for Eugene and for me, we are out of here.